might be from the Bronx. I know where my people from. South Carolina. You know what we're doing right now. We're just trying to kill a minute or two to give myself some leeway. I got a bad habit. I have a hard time with refraining from using profanity. I'm working on it. I've tried several methods. Nothing seems to work. Consistently, I'm Shirley Thompson's grandson. And if you don't know my grandmama, you don't know what that means. But she will cuss you out all day, every day, even Sunday. Ladies and gentlemen, Mo's and Moettes. Guess who's here? Let's be clear. It's your man, not your boy. Not your boy. Brother Mustafa, from One Step to Good. OG Hollywood, if you know me from the hood. Take these glasses off. That light is reflecting. Okay, tonight we're going to be getting into it, man. We're going to talk about what I believe to be the first New York blood to go to Los Angeles, California, and a highly gang-infested neighborhood, and actually be a gangster and have his own establishment in South Central Los Angeles, as a New York blood. If I'm incorrect about this particular individual, which I'm speaking of myself, being the first to be able to lay claims to such, come forth with your story. Because I believe that I was the first to do such, because when I went to Los Angeles and set up shop, you're talking 2002, it was no New York blood neighborhoods out there established anywhere in the city of Los Angeles. So I'm not saying that I established a neighborhood there and set up a chapter of Sex, Money, Murder, but I went out there as Sex, Money, Murder in Los Angeles and laid it down. And we're going to talk about that. Now, we're going to start from the top with my introduction to and my experience as a blood, which you hardly ever hear me refer to myself to or even use the terminology blood. You often hear me referring to myself as having been a founding member of the Sex, Money, Murder gang. But I don't think you can say you have ever heard me publicly use the term blood. And there's a reason for that. We're going to get into that. But we're going to start from the top. Very similar to the Los Angeles gang culture is my neighborhood in terms of its neighborhood based. And I think that's what separated us from everybody else in New York City. There was an actual location associated with our name from the onset. 1-8 Trey had a location as well, but for some reason or another, it just didn't seem to be as popular. I don't know. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I'm not saying like they was lacking over there or doing nothing wrong, but that organization that I was a part of had a reputation that preceded the blood movement in New York City. A lot of people knew of sex, money, murder before they knew anything about the Bloods. This is just a fact. A time frame based thing, you know. So when sex, money, murder first began, it was not a blood set. Okay, let's establish that. For the first time, Pete told me that we as a collective would be going as sex, money, murder, henceforth, was in 1992. I argued with him because I was not particularly fond of the name at the time. I thought it was too long and it had too many words in it. I was concerned with being able to write graffiti on the wall, and I thought sex and money and murder were too many words to write. So that was a foolish name for us to take on. This was my argument at the time. Today I can say I was wrong. It caught on like wildfire. But when Peter was incarcerated and he made the decision to have the organization be affiliated with the United Blood Nation, again, I was apprehensive. I was not the first one in the neighborhood to jump on board and want to be a Blood. Let's be clear about that. There are several reasons for that. Okay, now, to be honest totally, for one, at that point in time, I was rarely even in New York City. I don't know where you're from, but I'm from the Bronx. And from a very young teen, those of us who were in the street and hustling and whatnot, we began this thing called going OT. We would go out of town to set up shop in different cities and states across the East Coast, and we would sell our narcotics there. And oftentimes, some of us wouldn't make it home. Some of us would get incarcerated out there for an extensive amount of time. Some of us would have children out there and, start families in these different states and towns and whatnot. But for the most part, we felt like there was no real money in New York City because it was oversaturated. And in order to make any real money, you had to go out of town. So at that point in time, I was out of town trying to make some money in 1996. Now, prior to that, I was in the city. I saw Pete the night he was arrested at Grant's Tomb, right? That is the last time I physically saw Pete. That night he was arrested at Grant's Tomb. I saw him on 145th and 8th. He was on the bike and our twin was in the black Yukon. That was the last time I saw Pete. Now, while he was incarcerated, I had got into a situation in the Bronx, which caused a very well-known, very wealthy at that time drug dealer from the Bronx had a contract on me. So I took the initiative to try to preserve my life, and I was hiding out in Pennsylvania with a young lady friend that I had out there. And I came back to the Bronx on July 2nd of 96. It was the day that Nas' album, It Was Written, was released, if I'm not mistaken. I know for a fact it was July 2nd, but I do believe that was the official release date. Yeah. Now, like I said, I had been in Pennsylvania for quite some time, laying low. I come back to the city. My daughter's mother at this time, before she was my daughter's mother, was living in a private house right next to Bronxdale Projects, behind the old Pathmark that was there. If you're from the neighborhood, you're familiar with it. And so I called the homeboy Mookie from Stevenson Commons, man. Rest in peace to the Blazer Mookie, man, my little brother. I called Mookie's phone as soon as I got back to the hood, and I asked him what was going on. That's when he says, "Hey, Pete's home." I said, "What?" He said, "Pete home. He's looking for you. You need to go to the block." I'm like, "All right." So I left the girl's crib, and I went to the projects. On my way to Soundview Projects, I went through Stevenson Commons, and I saw a fella by the name of Steve from 1860, Puerto Rican Steve, who had accused me of robbing him, or should I say, relieving him from possession of some jewelry prior to me going to Pennsylvania. Now, I see the individual. We exchange no words. Nothing crazy happens, right? I cut through the comments. I go to the projects. I get to the projects. Everybody's on the block. And as soon as I pull up, they're like, what up, Wood? Go get some Dutchess. We about to smoke. I'm like, all right. I go in the store, get a box of Dutchess. Everybody walks up on the hill to 551. As soon as I come out the store, I'm walking across the street to 551 from the Yala store. Whoop, whoop. Police snatch me up right there on Cozy, right? So I don't even get to see Pete. So all this while, I don't know nothing about no blood set or nothing. You feel what I'm saying? I don't know nothing about a blood set. I sit on Rikers Island for a little while, most of the summer. I ended up getting the robbery reduced down to a larceny case. And I went from getting ready to accept a plea to reviewing the statement and looking at what the individual said and the way he worded it, and realized that there was actually no robbery, and I contested that, and I was able to plead to a larceny, and I was released from Rikers Island. Upon my release, I went back out of town again. So now I'm in Roanoke, Virginia, doing my thing, and I come back, and this is the first time B-Love tells me that, we're doing the blood thing now. Sex, money, murder, we blood, we're going with it. Woo. So I'm like, all right, I'm trying to get some work done. I wasn't trying to hear it, being honest. It didn't really, it didn't grab my interest right away. I really wasn't trying to hear it. I remember one Roro coming to me in the store asking me about it in the Yala store one day, and I wasn't trying to hear it. I wasn't interested, and it was for two reasons that I wasn't interested in being a blood right away. One, because I was still amongst those who believed that it was a Cali thing. That wasn't the primary reason. Two, by the time I came back and B-Love got to tell me that, that this is what we doing now, we with this blood thing, Pete says whoop-de-whoop-de-whoop, whatever, right? Before we could have that conversation, I came in the store and I looked. I saw certain people from the neighborhood had flags on, and they were Bloods. Now, I spent a lot more personal time with Pete than a lot of people from the neighborhood. His moms could attest to that. I hung out in his house daily. Some people hung out with him in the neighborhood. Some people hung out with him when he came to their neighborhood. I hung out with him in his house regularly, right? So I was real privy to the way the guy thought. And I knew that there were certain people, individuals from our neighborhood, who he didn't necessarily think very highly of. Whenever I would mention said individuals, he would say things to the effect of, he pussy. Anybody knows Pete knows one of his favorite words is pussy. He likes to call people pussy. He gets a kick out of that, right? And like, it could be something like a general conversation. Oh yeah, we were somewhere and something was about to pop off on a train or whatever. He might ask, who you was with? I was with XYZ. Oh, he pussy. He wasn't gonna do nothing. No, I hope you didn't think he was gonna help you. He put him. Oh, he pussy. He pussy. He's not gonna do nothing. You was really by yourself. This one was pussy. That one might have helped you. Him, he pussy. So I know he felt like that about a lot of people, right? He didn't necessarily say this to these people all the time, but I know he felt like that about a lot of these people. I saw some of these people wearing red bandanas. When Sex, Money, Murder went blood, I felt like it became far less exclusive than before it was blood. In terms of pedigree of who was allowed in. Let's be honest. We're gonna cut all the fat off the meat right now, right? And we're gonna take everybody's feelings and we're gonna one time. All right? That's all we're gonna do. That's the truth. He didn't rock with a lot of them dudes. A lot of them dudes never been to his house, never rode around in his car, never went out and partied with him, and never got money with him, and never put in no kind of work with him. That's just fact. People know that he and I were close. Who could vouch for that? People that he was close with. That's all I'm saying. The people he was the closest with can vouch for that. You know? So that was a turnoff for me. But as time went on, see, I was hoping it would be a passing fad. I did. I was hoping it would be a passing phase. I was hoping it wouldn't stick in our neighborhood. That somebody from our neighborhood would buck the jack and say, we're not memorizing all them numbers and shit over here. We're not with all that. And somebody would throw that shit away. And it wouldn't have to be me, right? So, like I said, initially over time, I did it. I made the move, and I came home and became blood, right? Sex, Money, Murder. And the reason I did it is because that's what all my people was doing. That's what all the people I cared about was doing. All the people who I would have been there for if they ever called me in a time of need was doing that. And all the people who I would have called if I was in a time of need and I needed somebody was doing that. And I kind of felt left out. After a while, I kind of thought the chocolate numbers thing was kind of cool. I did, right? So I got on board with it, right? I started doing what my homies was doing. So now, time goes on. During this time, late 90s, going into the early 2000s, in Los Angeles, the subject of Bloods being in New York was somewhat polarizing. All right? Either you was cool with it or you hated it. And there was a lot of people out there that hated it. And I felt like if, we were who we were supposed to be as Bloods, as Bloods in New York, if we were who we were supposed to be, with LA being the Mecca to the whole Blood and Crip thing, I thought we should be able to function, like interact and go back and forth and make moves and tap in and get plugged in and all type of stuff. That's what I thought it would be. And it seemed like that wasn't happening. When these big names I would hear about that were in the Blood, they would come home like there was no real connection with the Cali thing. So that it kind of made me, now mind you, during this time I'm still going hard at it while I'm doing it, but I'm second guessing it. I'm second guessing it because I'm running around with Animal, running around the Bronx with a razor blade, cutting people. And I'm feeling like I'm going backwards. Because when we was only Sex, Money, Murder, I was shooting people. Now I'm running around cutting people. Like, this seemed like I'm going backwards. Right? I didn't see where all of the inclusivity would lead to being able to get that amount of money without infiltration and cooperation being involved. too many cooks spoil the broth. I was a believer of that. Which, like I said, I was down for my guys. Right? Okay. So this is where I'm at with the blood thing. Now, I get in a situation, I catch a case, I'm looking at a lot of time. I need to go somewhere where I'm not known to be. They call it on the run, right? Now, when the blood paperwork first started circulating around, as we all know, we were told that a guy by the name of T. Rogers started Bloods in 1974. I'm sorry, y'all, my phone's going off, and these are actually business calls. Could you give me 1 second? So we were told that Bloods was started by a man named T. Rogers in 1974. Anybody seen that old paperwork knows that this is what was on it, What no one knew was I had a line on T. Rogers. Yeah, I had a line on T. Rogers. So when I spoke to T. Rogers, the story was a little bit different than the one I heard from these folks. But I skipped ahead a little bit. When I got into this particular situation where I landed myself in some trouble and I needed to get away, I had a close confidant of mine who was from Chicago, where T. Rogers is originally from, get in touch with T. And he told me, I'm sending you out to LA with T. You need somewhere to be. You got to get from around here. They're looking for you. And you're going to go away for a long time if and when they catch you. So I'm going to send you out to LA with T. And that's what he did. So I went out to Los Angeles, California, and I was picked up when I got there in a red Mercedes-Benz wagon by none other than T. Rogers himself. So T picks me up and he takes me back to his neighborhood, the Jungles. And he's giving me a little play-by-play tour as he's riding me through. So we were on August between Nicolette and Stevely in Baldwin Village. And so like I said, he knew my situation. He knew I had to lay low, but at the time I was also doing the music thing, right? I was a rapper. I had an independent label at that time. Not too many people in the Bronx were doing that. That was a Southern thing. But don't forget, I'm a Southern boy who was just raised in the Bronx. I got a Southern family. So I got a Southern mindset. So I had a record label when, like I said, not a lot of people in the Bronx were doing that themselves, pressing up their own material and pushing it on Cozy Corner. Nah. Trunk of the car, all up and down the Eastern Seaboard, consignment sheets and mom and pop record stores. Not a lot of people on the East Coast in New York City were doing that at that time. So the plan that we had concocted, I didn't just go out there aimlessly. The plan that we had concocted was T was going to use whatever influence and clout he had to try to connect me with Suge Knight and get me signed so I could get my hands on a substantial amount of money and somehow defend myself from the allegations that I was being charged with. That was my end game, And so I get to Los Angeles, and the first day I get to town, like, answer my pants. I'm sitting in T's house. It's quiet. He's there with his wife, Miss Kathy, and his two daughters, Tamika and Tanea, right? And I'm sleeping in the living room, on a little white leather couch. So I'm sitting there in the living room. I'm bored. I'm twiddling my thumbs. I went out the door. I stood in front of the building for a little while, looking around. Stood out there about 20 minutes, came back inside. About 15, 20 minutes, went back outside the door. He like, you know somebody out there? I said, nah. I'm like, I can't sit in this house. Like, what you mean? I'm like, I can't do it. Like, I can't just sit in this house, not making no money and not contributing for one. Like, I wasn't raised like that. But two, like, bro, I'm not a domesticated animal. I'm sorry. I be outside. Everything I do involves being outside. All the money I make involves being outside. This was not internet time, you know. I was involved in a lot of things that took place outside. So he says, all right, I'm gonna let you go out there. But I think it'd be best if I take you around the neighborhood and introduce you to a few of the factors. I'm like, okay, what's factors? You know, I don't know what that is at the time. But he tells me, some guys in the neighborhood that you probably should know if you're going to be moving about and involving yourself in any criminal activity. Like, I know you know how to handle yourself, but this ain't New York, boy. This Los Angeles. You don't know nothing about Los Angeles. I said, you're right. You're right. I mean, when in Rome, do as the Romans. I'm going to respect the land. You right. You know what I'm saying? And I was in my hothead stage right then, man. I was in my hothead stage. You know, I would SMD anything moving, pretty much. But I followed the OG, wisdom. And so we left out and he began to walk me on foot through the jungles. And he introduced me to a few people. I'm going to tell you the people he introduced me to the first day. All right. First day, he took me out the crib. He walked directly across the street and he introduced me to two brothers, RB and his brother Lil RB. Now, RB and I probably never said more than 10 words to each other. It was no bad feeling, bad energy, whatever. You know, I guess where he was at, he was just doing his thing already. He had his friends already. You know, he wasn't really looking to make no friends. There wasn't no hard feelings, though. And his brother, Lil RB, we was a little more cool. We actually became a little more cool, and we built a little better rapport because Lil RB happened to be friends with T's neighbor who lived in the same courtyard in 4911. Sean S. Dot. They were cool. And so Lil RB would come over there and burn weed with Sean. And me and Sean, that was the first person I had met out there, S. Dot, you know, because he was T's neighbor. So within that span of me walking in and out the door that couple of times, I met Sean, you know, but so like I said, Sean and Lil RB were cool. So de facto, me and Lil RB became cool. So from there, he walks me up the street and we go up to Coco. And he introduces me to one of the G homies from the jungle by the name of Time Bomb. Now, he wanted me to meet Time Bomb because I was working with the music and Time Bomb was supposed to be doing something with music at the time too. If I'm not mistaken, they said he had done some stuff with I don't want to get it wrong. Anybody knows, correct me. But they said he had done something with Suge Knight and Death Row, or either Dr. Dre and Aftermath, or either Dr. Dre at Death Row. Somewhere in there, you know, it was somewhere up in there. They said he had done some work with, and T wanted to hook me with him. But again, I'm an energy man, and I don't know whether it was my music or me being a blood from New York that he wasn't really feeling, but we didn't really develop a relationship. I just got the energy like he wasn't too fond of me. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't necessarily go back around there for anything. But I didn't have no hard feelings towards him or nothing. I just didn't get a warm welcome. Let's put it like that. So we left Time Bomb and we went up over by the park, met the other G homie, Bandit. Now, Bandit became my man. Me and Bandit had some things in common. I needed to know who Bandit was, but then I needed to know who a lot of other people was. And like I said, we had good dealings, you know. But after I met Bandit, we went down the hill, and he was like, "There's one more person I want you to meet." And I got a letter from T during the time of my incarceration when this individual had passed. And he actually wrote me and told me the individual passed because I met him. It was good energy. He was hella cool, no bad vibes, genuine smile, genuine handshake and stuff when we see each other, you know. And that was a brother by the name of Madman. So, you know, just saying the jungle's BIP to Madman. You know, I knew Madman, the dark-skinned homie. You know what I'm saying? I met Madman right over by the little fruit truck. They used to be up on August, man. They had a little fruit truck over there, man. And that's what T introduced me to Madman. And as I was going about doing my ones and twos in the streets out there, I would see him out there frequently, you know. It was some time later when I would meet T's sons, and I would meet another individual by the name of Fat Rat from the jungles. And so I'm out there on my second day outside in the J's. This is 2002. So like I said, I'm talking reckless about it. I'm talking about 2002. Ain't nobody's dropped, statute of limitation, ain't none of that. I ain't worried about none of that. Yeah, I sold a little bit of narcotic back then. You know, but where I'm at with it. My second day, moving around the jungles by myself, just finding out the simple stuff, you know, who got the bud, how to go get something to eat, and you know what I'm saying, how to move around by myself and whatnot. I run into a guy, and he introduced me to a smoker. And the smoker had a crib on Coliseum between La Brea and Stevely. In that same building, there was another smoker upstairs, and it was somebody who was trapping up there who wasn't from out there. He wasn't from the jungles. They were saying that the guy was Keyshawn Johnson's brother from Fruittown Brim, and they was trying to run that dude out of there. This was the word that I used to hear all the time. They was trying to run him out of there. And he was moving like he felt like somebody was trying to run him out of there. Like he didn't feel very comfortable there. But I met the dude, Dennis, whatever, and I had a supply. So my second day out there, I found me a spot. To start trapping on, you know? And T didn't find out about it till about 3-4 days later. And we standing in front of his building. And he says, "You a bad boy." He said, "These boys have been out here curb serving all this time. You've been out here 1 week, you got you a stove." Well, I don't know if it was just, you know, my way of doing things, being from the East Coast and going out of town, like I said, on all them different states in the East Coast, spotting up. But I played it the same way in LA, bro. And all I had was like a walkthrough introduction, you know, to a few guys. And we're going to be totally honest, right? Jungles is a big hood. Anybody that's from LA or from the jungles will tell you, me being introduced to 5 or 6 people, if I was introduced to 10 people at the top, that ain't enough to keep a motherfucker off your ass if you don't got this. It's always going to be somebody who wasn't around when you got introduced. And when they see you, you fool, you new, you hustling in their hood, and they're approaching you with a different type of aggression. And they already think Bloods from New York is a joke. That's a joke to them. That is a jokey joke. That is as funny as Kamala Harris being a black woman. It's a joke to them. I've been there. Let me tell you what I dealt with. All right? Another couple of homies, let me tell you real stuff. These real jungles homies. Ask anybody know anything about the jungles in LA. By any of these names or locations I'm talking about, if they felony or not. All right? The second day I came outside, I told you I was the day that I ended up getting my spot and meeting Dennis and all that. Prior to that, I met another homie by the name of J9. Dark-skinned brother had the braids. Older homie. I think he was older than me. J9 probably was in his 30s. I think he moved to the jungles from down south somewhere and might have got put on the hood older, if I'm not mistaken. J9 seen me standing in front of T. Rogers' building. I had on red Chuck Taylors, a red polo hoodie, and some tan Dickie khakis. And I had my feet standing. I have my feet standing funny, like, wait, can you see my like a duck? Yeah, like I have my feet like that. Yeah, standing there, looking crazy. Nigga J9 walks in and said, "Hey, homie, why you got all that red on?" I said, "Ain't this a blood neighborhood?" He says to me, when the United States Army send their soldiers off to war, do they dress them up in a red, white, and blue suit? I said, nah. He said, that's right. They wear camouflage. Now go take that shit off. He said, now go take that shit off. Yeah. That nigga told me, go take that shit off, right? So I go take all the red shit off. I'm being extra. And I come back out with some regular clothes on and shit. Now I'm chilling regular, right? So one of the homies walk up. This is what I tell you, I had met the homie S. Dot already. So I'm standing there talking to S. Dot and J9. Somebody else come up. And they made the mistake of saying, what's popping? What you think I did? 5 Papa 6 drop a CK to my cap. Yo, bro, them niggas looked at me and cracked up laughing. When I'm talking about rolling on the floor laughing, they laughed their ass off at me. They died laughing at me. And I'm looking at them niggas like, what the fuck are y'all laughing at? Like, they like, that shit ain't got nothing to do with no goddamn Bloods. Yeah. I'm in the jungles where they filmed Training Day at. That was on Palmwood. Yeah. That's what they told me. That shit ain't got nothing to do with no damn Bloods. So then they started making a joke out of it. When other homies would come around, you know what they would do? They would call me over there and say, New York, come here, homie. Hey, say that riddle for them. Let them hear that riddle you said there. They called them riddles. They said I would say all them little oaths and pledges and all the little rhymey shit. They called them riddles. I promise you, I can't make this shit up. In the jungles. I was in the jungles. I really sold dope in the jungles. Had my own trap house, paid nobody no punk dues, none of that. Held my shit down. Couldn't get run out of there. Not because of this, because of this. It's a difference because of this. Yeah. See, I learned to curb my ignorance when I was out there. I used to reply to everything when I was in New York, right? There was a homeboy from the jungles, if I'm not mistaken, I think his name Bongo, right? Bongo used to test my goddamn patience every night. Anytime Bongo seen me late night, he'd make sure to shout, who that is? Who that is? Who that is? And I stopped so the nigga could see me, because he'd be shouting from the dark, like in the shadows. You can't even see him. So I don't know if this nigga strapped or not. So I stopped. Let me let this nigga see my face and let him know who I am. Right? And nigga say, oh, it's you. Oh, guess pass, nigga. Yeah. Now, if we'd been back on the East Coast, I would have whooped Bongo. I knew I could have whooped him. I felt like I could have whooped him. I ain't fight him, but if you ask me, I think I could have whooped him. But I wasn't even going to go there with him at that point in time. That would have been foolish of me. That would have been foolish of me. To get into it with a G homie from the hood, and I'm not from out there, and these niggas done rolled out the red carpet and let me walk about their land freely and do as I choose. The fuck I look like beating up one of their homeboys. You got it, Bongo. You got it, man. Let me just slide on through, bro. That was the beginning of a learning process. I would learn to bite my tongue like that on several occasions when dealing with administration, while incarcerated, and things of that nature. When dealing with the level 2 mouthiness after having done extensive amount of times in higher security facilities. Yeah, you learn to curb your ignorance, and you develop a degree of patience and wisdom to where you start learning, like, if it don't apply, let it fly. Let it fly. That's light. That's light. I didn't have a that's light meter at that point in time. Once I got wide open, I was wide open. So I think I got a idea of how and when to turn it off during my time in Los Angeles. I don't think, I don't know. I'm not going to say what anybody else could have or would have done. And I don't want to say too much about certain things that I did when I was in Los Angeles. Like I said, when the Rome do is the Romans. So I was riding around with the guys, the CK Mousy and them. I was riding around with the guys, until I was apprehended and I went to LA County Jail. So I got to experience the Los Angeles culture from the terms of the street, you know, the gangs, the nightlife, the hustling, the pimping, the prostitution, I saw everything firsthand in Los Angeles. I had my hands on everything while I was there. When I was outside, I was outside in LA, in the jungles, screaming sex, money, murder. Where you from? Sex, money, murder. This is in New York Bloods. Where you from? Sex, money, murder. What's that? This is New York Blood. You a New York Blood? Yeah, I'm for sex, money, murder. It's in New York. It's so many people who I've heard say so much in pertaining to the blood thing in New York. But when you talk about doing it in the Mecca, they downplay it as if it's irrelevant. Anybody could do this, anybody could do that, whatever this, that, and the third. I don't believe it. I don't believe a lot of New York Bloods would have survived out in LA talking about, I'm out here, this is my spot, I'm hustling, I'm from whatever New York set when the LA gangbangers run down on me. In 2001, 2002, no, I don't believe it. I don't believe they would have did it, and I don't believe anybody else did it. I think I'm the only one from New York that was a New York City Blood. Wasn't no rapper out there with security. I'm not talking about rappers with security. I'm talking about just me and my gangster walking around Los Angeles with a red flag in my pocket and around my head and all type of other stupid shit. Niggas in the jungle would tell you, we used to have to tell that nigga take that shit off. The niggas in the jungle would tell you, they used to tell me, yo, take that shit off, man. I wanted all the smoke. I did. I was a young boy. I wanted all the smoke. Come with this blood shit. This is where all the Crips at. I'm out here. And I don't even want blood up from New York. Only reason I'm alive is it was the cut of a law. A law didn't intend for me to die yet. That's it. I could have got killed. Absolutely. Was I young and foolish? Absolutely. But did I give a fuck then? Absolutely not. You'd have had to do it. And I would have did it to you. And because I wasn't from out there, I was trying to make a name for myself. I would have did it to you before you did it to me. Be lucky you didn't cross me out there. Real. I was on that type of timing out there, man, because one, I was already on the run, and I felt like they caught me, I was going to jail for life. So what do I have to lose if somebody tries me out here? If I let them get me, I'm dead out in California. I'm going in the pine box somewhere. My family will probably never know about it. So when I tell you I was in super duper savage mode, I was super duper savage mode out there. Until one night, when me and the homie CK Mousy sitting in the park, getting high. Now, T told me when I first came out there, he don't fuck with no Sherm. He don't fuck with niggas who fuck with Sherm. Now, mind you, I had been selling dust and smoking dust for about 5 years at that time. 5, 6 years. I did a lot more selling dust than smoking dust, for the record. I sold ounces of water, dips, bundles, whatever you want, quarts. I used to get my hands on gallons of water at that point in time. Very lucrative business. Very lucrative business. But T didn't particularly like that business. He didn't like it at all. And he told me that he did not fool with folks who partook in indulgence with that said substance that was established from gate. So this is where I was 1,000% in the wrong at. Own my shit. Accountability is everything. You got to know how to own your shit. All right. I can tell you when I was 1,000% in the wrong. But I'm sneaking around doing what I do when I'm outside. Thinking he don't know. He in the house. He was on the kiddie machine at the time. At nighttime, he used to go on the kiddie machine from like 9 at night to 9 in the morning type shit or some shit like that. He had a tube. He could leave out the house. I'm like, he ain't gonna catch me out here doing it. Stuck for long. But this is where my mind was at, you know. But I had a lot of respect and admiration for T. Rogers. I would say this. You know, he was a great dude, man. A very wise man, a very intellectual man. T would say stuff to you and make you sit on the couch for 15 minutes trying to figure out what the fuck he just said. And you would feel like if you didn't get it, you're dumb. Because he put it out there real simple. So you're supposed to get this. Now, if you don't get this, you lame. But you don't get it. So you sitting there, he'll fuck you up. That nigga spin your ass around like a goddamn top boy. He was a good one, though. He was a good guy, man. You know, learned a lot from him. It was an honor. I call myself a Sidewalk University graduate. You know, one of the times when I did go up in death row office, I left out a very important figure. We're speaking of the jungle. I can't talk of the jungle and not talk about the general, Tone Stone, also known as Salahuddin. Assalamu alaikum. That's my brother. Tone Stone came home from prison in 2002, around that time. And I met the brother, man. And he was working with Death Row. So it was his employment status at the row that T used to walk us up in the building for a sit down with Suge Knight. At the time we got there, Suge Knight was dealing with the funeral services of his best friend Buntry. Buntry had recently gotten, unalived. This was had to have been early April 2002, I want to say. Because I was abducted by aliens on the same day the left eye died. Had to have been a spaceship grabbed me, had blue lights. Folks didn't look nothing like me. I was abducted by aliens. But same day left eye died. And I was supposed to go back to sit and talk with them 2 weeks from the time that I sat with them to give him time to take care of the funeral and everything. But before the 2 weeks were over, I was incarcerated. Like I said, I was CK Mousy in the park getting high. We smoking. And I'm not feeling it. It was one of them creepers. Right away, you ain't really high like that, you know? So we smoke. I'm like, Mousy, I ain't high. You high, Mousy? I said, nah, blood, I ain't high neither. Let's go get some more. I said, all right. So we jump in the car. We float down August Santa Rosalie, and blue light jump on our ass. Blue light jump on our ass. Motherfucker say CK Mousy from the jungles was doing 35 into 25. Or either 45 into 30. He said he was doing 45 into 35 or 35 into 25, one of them. But before they said that, when they pulled us over, I knew I had my warrant and everything, right? I told CK Mousy, tell that nigga my name is Raymond Jenkins, right? Raymond Jenkins. That's the name of a nigga I went to Job Corps with in 1991. I said, tell that nigga my name is Raymond Jenkins. CK Mousy, get out the car. Now, remind you, I said this was a creeper bag. We wasn't high when we smoked it. By the time we got pulled over, nigga, we was on Pluto. We was gone, right? So they pulled CK Mousy out the car. I see later when I get the paperwork. They asked me what's my name. I said Raymond Jenkins. They go ask CK Mousy what's his name. They said CK Mousy said his name's Sal. They said Sal. We gotta go back and ask him again. That's when they came back and asked me my name again. I said Raymond Jenkins. They went back to CK Mousy and said, what's his name again? And they said, well, his name is Sal, but sometimes we call him Joe. These motherfuckers asked me for ID, bro. They asked me for some ID. They was like, your buddy over there is giving us a different name than what you're giving us. So we're gonna need to see some ID. I tried to play I didn't have it, and guess what? My dumb ass had it on me. My dumb ass had it. Yes, I did. So I went to LA County Jail, claiming sex, money, murder, New York Bloods. My first ally in LA County Jail was a brother from Athens. And his name was Mouse. Marcus Wilson, I believe was his real name. He was from Athens. He used to tell me about his brother got a lowrider shop named Do It Fluid. We did DMX, Aaliyah lowrider. He used to tell me that every day, right? I heard this story all the time. But I could say bro was solid though. I don't know what he did on the streets out in LA. I don't know how LA know him. I don't know how his hood know him. But he was solid with me in LA County Jail. That brother was solid, bro. Listen, I went to LA County Jail with dope, crack cocaine, asshole full, crack cocaine. Showing up. So before my money get to me, I'm like, I'm not finna set up in here and starve. I'm finna have me a big bag of groceries tonight up in this LA County jailhouse. And ain't that motherfucker gonna take a goddamn thing from me. As a sex, money, murder, New York Blood. See, I'm not on Rikers Island, where I got 1 million of my homeboys. Now, I'm in LA, where it's 1 million neighborhood and 1 million gangster Crips, nigga. And 1 million LA Bloods who think you a fucking joke. Goddamn, I told her, bro. First, before I met Mouse, it was an old school Crip nigga. I don't even remember what hood he's from. But he was in the bullpens with me, and I told him I got dope. I got yam. I got yam. Ass. I got plenty of it. He was like, hey, man, what you need to do is you need to go up to the 4,000 floor. I'm like, huh? He like, yeah, go to the 4,000 floor. That's where a lot of the OGs at. Tell them you need a special diet tray. Say you lactose intolerant. If you say you lactose intolerant, you get a special diet tray. They can send you to the 4th floor with the OGs, and you'll get your pack off up there. I said, okay, homie, I appreciate that. I appreciate that, little Jim. You know, I can't remember who he is. OG Crip nigga, though, he told me that. He was like, yo, tell them you lactose intolerant. They're going to put you up on the 4,000 floor with the OGs so you get your pack off. I said, solid. You know what I'm saying? Boom. After me and him part ways, a little while after that is when I met Mouse. You know, this is like intake type shit. Fresh coming in the county. Because when they came in, they asked you blood or Crip, don't lie. Whatever. I told the niggas I'm blood. They asked you when you come in, you blood or Crip. So they know they put you to the gang modules. I ended up going to the gang modules, but I went to the 4,000 floor first because I had to get my dope sack off. Yes, I did. Special diet tray, I'm lactose tolerant. I got up on the 4,000 floor. Nigga Mousy Ma with me side by side like I had a homeboy, nigga. I'm running that dope up there. Nigga stand, ain't asking for nothing. Ain't on no handout shit. Don't want nothing. Just want to be solid, bro. I fucked with blood. Man, for real. Anybody know that nigga Marcus Wilson, Mouse, from Athens Park? That nigga, his homeboy Hollywood from New York, remember him and appreciate him. Word. Said love him, man. Word. But where I knocked off my pack, right? And like as soon as I get down to the end of my pack up there on the 4,000 floor, they call my name for that overflow shit. So they go to send me out the wayside. I gotta go to wayside. So me and Mouse split up. So now I'm out in wayside, the Pitchers County Detention Center. This is the first time I ever saw them triple stack bunk beds in my life. And I found out what the Mac rep was. New York niggas don't know about the Mac rep. I tell niggas down south and in New York about the Mac rep, and they look at me like, what the fuck is the Mac rep? I let them know how, like, the boys in LA, they got this thing that they call the Mac rep, where it's a representative for your race. It's segregated in a jailhouse out there. White folks, black folks, Mexicans. Well, white folks and Mexicans, I think, is allowed to talk to each other, but black folks ain't allowed to talk to white folks or Mexicans in the jailhouse, the inmates. You got to stay with your own color. That shit crazy. Yeah, and if you got a problem or an issue or anything you want to say to the other race, you got to talk to Mac rep. That's what they call him. Nigga named Mac rep. Some LA shit, bro. New York nigga don't know a goddamn thing about Mac rep on Rikers Island. We don't got Mac rep. Bro, I learned about the Mac rep, nigga. Yeah. You know what I mean? And then some of the downest niggas with me when I was in there was Crips. I ain't gonna lie, man. Crips showed me a lot of love. I might have to say more Crips was nice to me than Bloods in there. Now, one of the tightest niggas in there was a Blood nigga, old school nigga from 20s, the Blood neighborhood 20s. If anybody know OG Baptiste, if he's still around, old school nigga, bald head, handlebar mustache. He want to do karate all the time. He don't know I'm a karate man, son. I do some karate with your ass all goddamn day, motherfucker. You ain't saying shit. Slick to a can of all. Yeah. Well, old school OG Baptiste was cool with me up in that shit. We used to work out and do karate in the goddamn I went to East Max first. Then I chilled with OG Baptiste and them over there for a while. Another nigga was real tight me when I was in there. Was a nigga from Tragnew Park, Compton Crip. Nigga named Frog, Compton Frog. From Tragnew Park, Compton Crip, Frog. That nigga showed love in there with me. Me and him was cool. We used to chop it up, you know what I'm saying? Sit at the table, kick it like most of the day. You know what I'm saying? I work out, do my karate shit with Baptiste, and I just kick it with the nigga Frog most of the day. When I was fucking the East Max shit. You know, you had to have black friends, bro. Your friends had to be black, period. And that's what I did. There was another nigga in there, man. They told me he got high on the street. But he was from Avalon's named Ice. Old school light skin that used to draw real good and shit. He was cool too. But they tried to say, man, homo junkie on the street. But I know in the jailhouse, he was solid. He was solid. I don't even know him from the street. I'm just saying when niggas whispered behind his bike. But they overflowed me, sent me back again. Now I ain't got no more dope. So I don't want to go on the 4,000 floor. Y'all know where I'm with it now. They like, gang modules sign me up. Fuck the gang modules at. Let's go. They put me in the goddamn gang modules, man. I end up in there in a cell with a little Crip dude from a hood called Whitsett. Who heard of Whitsett Ave Gangsta Crip in the Valley? He said he don't like Pacoima Pyru. So he probably want to kill Whack a Hunter. He probably been trying to kill Whack a Hunter back then. Little Chopstick from Whitsett Ave Gangsta Crip. But bust what Little Chopstick told me. The Chopstick told me he had him a sissy up in the state. Homie Chopsticks, I ain't bullshit. Homie Chopstick said, yeah, I gotta be a sissy, little punk. Nigga named Chocolate. I said, what? He said, he said it go. Now I'm watching all these podcasts and stuff. All the LA gangbangers say that don't go. Chopstick from Whitsett Ave, Gangsta Crip, told me he had him a little nigga named Chocolate up there in the state. Because he came down, he was already down. He was already in the state for like 6 years, but he was my cellar in LA County Jail. He came down like saying like he trying to get his homeboy off on a case. He got to testify some shit and get his homeboy off on a case. But this nigga sat in that goddamn cell and told me he got him a little boy up in the state. Old nigga named Chocolate. Chopstick, Whitsett Ave, Gangsta Crip. Yep. That shit weirded me out, bro. But I left the cell with Chopstick, and that's when I went back to Supermax. And I was in there with a nigga named Big Boy from 20s. He had like 60 years. He was back down in court for some other reason or another. I remember I taught homie how to play casino, the card game casino. He never learned how to play casino. If that shit circulating around California State Prison, I might be the nigga who started casino, the card game called Casino. They wasn't playing casino in LA County Jail. I taught LA County Jail niggas how to play casino. If y'all niggas play casino in a penitentiary in LA, everybody on OG Hollywood, something off a commissary. One item, motherfucker. One item. Each. That gotta be fucking like 1 million items. I taught you niggas casino. Yeah. Who else with me? Nigga from PJ Watts named Popeye Corleone. He was solid. Crip nigga, PJ Watts Crip. I got the Supermax. They'll walk over to me. Hand me some food that night, bro. Word, my nigga. I'm like, oh, good looking, my guy. Good looking. I appreciate that. Just cool, bro. You know what I'm saying? No reason, no funny shit, no nothing, man. Nigga named Popeye Corleone, man. Slim, light-skinned dude. Eye cocked like a pistol. Cool in the motherfucking fan. Hell yeah. Nigga named Pluck. He's somewhere in Bompton, because he had a Bompton Pyru on his back. And I don't know where at in Bompton, though, but he's called him Pluck. And I remember he was going swole up top. He was like the prototype of the jailhouse nigga, swole up top. Little legs look like this right here, little tiny little legs. Nigga named Pluck. He was over there with us. Who else could I remember? Nigga named JC from Playboy Crip. I can't remember right now. There's a few more niggas I remember. They come back to me. Like I have more cellies in the game modules than I'm remembering right now. It's gonna come back to me though. It's gonna come back to me. But yeah, I did all that time in LA County Jail, right? Waiving my extradition rights to come back to the East Coast, waiting for the folks to come get me. Now, prior to that, I'm gonna rewind back. This how like that I don't believe in coincidence. Like everything happened for a reason. Everything is a cut of a law. I can't believe in that coincidence because I had so many of the freakiest coincidences in my life that don't make no sense. I say like 2 or 3 days before I was abducted by them fucking aliens, right? I was talking to T. Rogers and another one of my comrades out there about us starting a magazine because Feds Magazine and Don Diva Magazine hadn't quite got big out there yet. Mind you, this is pre-internet. There's no internet, right? So Feds and Don Diva hadn't really popped on the scene in LA yet. I noticed it hadn't because I'm talking to about it. I even got to copy the issue with Pete on it with me. I brought that with me, like, you know what I mean? So they're like, nah, they don't know nothing about that. They don't know nothing about that. You feel what I'm saying? So I'm like, yeah, we can work on that, whatever. Put something together like that with all West Coast niggas. Have your version of the shit. And let that shit boom. They're like, yeah, we're going to do that. We're going to put some money together, do that. That was a project we was working on. And as we got to talking, they said, man, the first person we need to do is Freeway Rick. We need to do Freeway Rick. I'm like, who's Freeway Rick? So they start telling me the story about Freeway Rick, the notorious Los Angeles kingpin, Freeway Rick Ross, right? They start telling me a story about it. And I'm blown away. I'd never heard it in the East Coast, in New York or down south. I'd never heard the Freeway Rick story. So I'm like, wow, okay, I never heard of bro. Okay, yeah, that's story worthy. We definitely we need to do a Freeway Rick story. That's huge, right? Okay, so boom. When it's finally time for me to leave LA County Jail, because they kept dicking me over. They kept having me sign this paper telling me like, if my state that for my charge didn't come grab me by this date, they're gonna have to let me go. But on that date, they would just take me to court, and the state had asked for an extension, so they get more time. And they'd take me to court, and I'm thinking I'm going home that day. I'm calling my little LA girlfriend, telling her, yeah, come down to the courthouse. I'm coming home today, all type of shit, because these people ain't came and got me. When I get there, no, they got an extension. So that's a myth. If you ever getting locked up and you're waiting extradition, and they tell you if that state don't come get you in, 10 days or 30 days or however many days is capped. Because they can always ask for an extension. So they asked for an extension. And then they finally come get me, right? I'm thinking these people going to send some police out here to get me and fly me back on a plane, and I'm going to have on a suit and a jacket is going to be over my handcuffs like in the movies. That's not what happened. The fucking U.S. Marshals came to L.A. County Jail and got me. And they robbed the fuck out of me. Let me put that out there. The U.S. Marshals that came to L.A. County Jail robbed the fuck out of me. They took my watch. They took my jewelry. They took my money. They took all my shit. The U.S. Marshals did. My shit never made it to my mother's house. Never. All my shit they took. I'm getting mad thinking about that shit, bro. Whoo, I just got hot. Okay, so they take me from L.A. County Jail when the marshals come. They take me from L.A. County Jail to a place called San Bernardino County Jail. Half of San Bernardino County Jail is a county jail for San Bernardino residents, and the other half is a hub for federal inmates in transit. Now, I don't have a federal case. I've never had a federal case. I've never been federally indicted in my life. Inshallah, I never am. But I had to travel with the federal inmates and go into the federal system for the purposes of transit. I was being extradited back by the U.S. Marshals. You know, so like I said, when I got to San Bernardino County Jail, in the very next cell from me was none other than Freeway Rick Ross. How crazy is that? We were just talking about this man. I had never heard of this man. I just had like a 3-hour conversation talking about this man, like a couple days before I get back. As soon as the feds get me, the first day they put me in a cell in San Bernardino, Freeway Rick Ross is in the next cell for me. When I tell you we hit it off right off the bat, he wrote me. He wrote me throughout my bid, through my mom's. I gave him my mom's address when they took me to transfer me out, and I got a letter from him first. And we kept in touch throughout the bid, bro. Throughout my whole bid. I did 11 years, and Freeway Rick Ross kept in touch with me, man. Word. From that time in San Bernardino County Jail. You know what I'm saying? Because the first thing he asked me when he met me, files from New York, you rap? Let me hear what you got. That's the first thing nigga want to know if I rap, bro. I'm so serious. I'm like, hell yeah, ain't nobody in here fucking with me. That's to make sure I put some loud on. Yeah, hell yeah, I rap. Ain't nobody in here fucking with me. Yeah. Yeah, that was my guy, though. I just thought that was so bizarre. Like, you know, we had just been talking about him and just been talking about, you know, possibly doing a magazine and featuring him in it and whatnot. And then I run into the guy in San Bernardino County Jail. That's just crazy. But yeah, once I got on a plane, once they came and got me from before that. Let me tell you one thing. Share a Freeway Rick story, right? In this particular jail, San Bernardino County, the California guys will tell you, I don't know what it's like now, but 20-something years ago, in 2002, you weren't allowed to talk in the chow hall. New York niggas would not be able to comprehend this shit. Yeah, they can't talk in the chow hall. They can't talk in the mess hall. Right? So Rick was in the cell next to me, and there might have been 8 or 10 guys to a cell. It was them big cells, right? So my cell would come out. My cell was closer to the front of the tier than his. So we would come out after them. I believe they would start at the end and let everybody out, and then all the way up to the front would come out last type shit. However it would be, right? We would come out in the same order every day, every child. And the order we would come out in would always sit Rick right across the table from me. And Rick didn't eat meat. He still doesn't eat meat, but he didn't eat meat then, right? I just didn't eat pork. The rest of that meat, I'm tearing that shit up. So Rick would give me the meat off of his tray. No Diddy, not his meat, the meat off of his tray. Let me be clear. He give me the meat off of his tray every day, but we would have to do it in silence. And it would be so crazy. Like we would all sit down, everybody sit their tray down, and I'm looking at the police. He looking at the police. We just cut the eyes looking at the police. As soon as they walk by, niggas back, wham, I snatch that shit off his paper bag, and chew that shit up like hell, boy, without nobody saying nothing. But it just be like the game we play when we sit down. He know I'm coming for it. You know what I'm saying? And so we both look. As soon as he set the tray down, he waiting for me to attack that shit. Like we just looking back and forth, waiting for the police to walk by, waiting for the police to walk. As soon as they walk, wham, I snap that shit. Cricket said, yep. That was my man, Freeway Rick Ross. But after that, they took me to Victorville, to the airstrip, and they flew me off, and Sex, Money, Murder in LA was over. That's my Sex, Money, Murder in LA story, y'all. Everything can be fact-checked and verified because I am the truth. Y'all take care.